Joining me today to talk about creating transformation in the field of wildlife conservation is the CEO of Conservation Nation, Lynn Mento. Conservation Nation launched in the fall of 2021 with a mission devoted to supporting and amplifying underrepresented voices in the conservation field, including women, people of color, Indigenous people, and those from disadvantaged communities. Their goal is to lift long-standing barriers to accelerate the growth of a strong community of wildlife champions and future leaders, solving biodiversity challenges together. Check out this introduction to their important work.
Historically, it has taken privilege to explore nature and to become a conservationist. Access to education and training and unpaid internships are barriers to entry, creating a cycle where future diverse conservationists don't see themselves in these careers. At Conservation Nation, our mission is to preserve the planet by creating a diverse and inclusive wildlife conservation movement. Here are some of our end-of-the-year highlights. The Conservation Nation Grant Program offers funding to help save animals and their ecosystems by building a stronger, more diverse wildlife conservation community. We are looking forward to seeing all the projects from our next cohort of grantees in the new year. Conservation Nation focuses on role models and how they can influence youth and their futures by connecting them to people working in the field. Inclusion is the only path to growth and success in conservation. Now more than ever, we need every brilliant voice, perspective, and solution at the table to save the delicate web of biodiversity that keeps us all alive and thriving. To learn more about how you can help, visit conservationnation.org.
So inspiring. Thank you, Lynn, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Kelly. I'm thrilled to be here at Live from Earth. This event gives me such hope for the future. It's just full of amazing people doing terrific things, so I'm honored to be part of it.
And you are one of those people. Tell us more about the work of Conservation Nation.
So we are passionate at Conservation Nation about preserving the planet and the inclusive movement that we know is essential in order to do that. We need every smart voice, solution, perspective, lived experience at the table. And as you saw in that video, unfortunately, there have been long-standing barriers for decades that have kept people out of the field of conservation. And so our mission is to lift those barriers and create a strong, inclusive, diverse, representative community of conservationists and wildlife champions.
So how exactly do you propose to do that?
We do it two ways. We've created this unique program that merges these two things. So the first is providing support to conservationists from these traditionally underrepresented communities. And then the second is by inspiring the next generation of conservationists who are diverse, inclusive, and representative to see themselves as wildlife champions, all the way up to pursuing a STEM academic and career path into conservation. On that work, we have two programs on the education side, one here in the US, which we call the Conservation Nation Academy, and it's designed to inspire middle schoolers to see themselves rightfully and confidently as wildlife champions. And we do this primarily by using role model conservationists who help these kids see conservationists who look like them, have walked past like them, so we can break the "if you can't see it, you can't be it" challenge. And then also by providing them with opportunities to be in nature, so their confidence grows, their sense of belonging grows. It's a terrific little program, and you can hear more about it now from one of our students at the fabulous Washington School for Girls, Catherine.
Hi, my name is Catherine, and today I really enjoyed Conservation Nation. We went outside and we got to draw in a journal, listen to the water, listen to the trees, and state some things that we knew about the nature.
That's so great. This makes me so hopeful for the future. Did you say there was another education program?
There is. We're doing work with the Girls Foundation of Tanzania, which is a terrific organization in Tanzania that's dedicated to supporting education for girls from the impoverished communities in Tanzania and providing them with safe spaces for school breaks. And we're partnering with the Girls Foundation of Tanzania to inspire these girls to see themselves as wildlife champions and become ambassadors within their own communities. So we're doing things like taking the girls out to field trips to wildlife conservation organizations that we're working with in Tanzania so that they get hands-on experience. And then we are partnering with them to create wildlife clubs that these girls can take out to schools in Tanzania, and the girls become the wildlife champion ambassadors at these school club programs. You can hear now from the woman who runs the Girls Foundation of Tanzania, Esther Happy.
I am Mr. Happy, Director of the Girls Foundation of Tanzania. I'm very excited because we are partnering with Conservation Nation, and we've been doing a lot of education to the girls, teaching them how to conserve environment, to avoid all the destruction that can ruin our environment. And our girls, we have some of them here, you guys can wave. Hi! They learn how to conserve environment, and we are looking back for them to go back and educate their community. Nasila can share a little bit about that.
I'm Nasila. I come from the community of Maasai, and I'm very proud and happy to be selected to be at the Girls Center since I get the best education on how to conserve the environment. Since when I go back to my community, I educate them on the effects of cutting down trees, overgrazing. So I educate them on how to reduce the number of cattle and also to plant trees that they can beneficial later in their life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's incredible. And your other focus is on providing support to conservationists work around the world?
Yeah, when we realized how incredibly difficult it was for people who were not born into a family of privilege or one with connections to become part of this fight to save biodiversity and the planet, we knew our mission was going to be single-mindedly focused on lifting these barriers to allow them in. And so we created what we call a scaffolding program around these conservationists to support them, both get them into the field and then support them so they can thrive when they're in it. So the scaffolding program is designed for conservationists from traditionally underrepresented communities, and it has 3 pieces. We provide them with funding to support their wildlife saving work today. We provide them with professional development so that they can grow and thrive in their field. So it's things like sessions on how to tell your story or how to raise grant funding. And then the third way is providing them with mentoring and connections so that they get an equitable leg up and are able to both enter and then stay in the field of conservation. And, you know, we were so proud when we were able to fund a full-time paying job for our first fellow, Taylor Raby, thanks to the generosity of Conservation Nation donors. So Taylor had been volunteering at the Yellowstone Wolf Project, and through our donors, we were able to fund a full-time paying job for her. So now she doesn't have to worry about a second job to pay the bills. She can focus full-time on wolf conservation and research. And we've got a little clip from Taylor here.
Hi, Lynn. Thanks so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be a part of this conversation. It's been so inspiring seeing some of the paths that everyone has taken to get involved with conservation and follow along with the work that they're doing. And so I would like to describe the path that I took in order to be involved with conservation and the work that I'm continuing to do. I grew up in a small town in northeastern Ohio, and I had always been super fascinated by wildlife growing up. I decided to pursue a bachelor's degree from The Ohio State University in zoology to kind of pave my way through some type of work in the conservation field. During my undergrad, I was very fortunate enough to travel all over the world. I got to study abroad in South Africa and really learn about the conservation work that they're doing there, which is what inspired me to want to keep going. I ended up moving to Yellowstone National Park, where my husband, Jack, is a PhD student with the Yellowstone Wolf Project, and I knew that I wanted to be involved with the research in some capacity. Yellowstone Wolf Project is funded by Yellowstone Forever, a nonprofit, so everything is through private donations, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to get hired on due to a lack of funding. So as I was in Yellowstone, I was working full-time as a wildlife guide, and simultaneously volunteering for the Yellowstone Wolf Project 40 hours a week for free. And I did that for about 2.5 years. Whenever you want to be involved in the wildlife field and you want to kind of make your way, it's not necessarily about what you know, but it's about who you know. So you need to make a lot of connections out here, and often that means volunteering and working super low, underpaid jobs in order just to get your foot in the door. So I was very, very fortunate enough to be connected with Conservation Nation, who was able to provide support and funding for an entire year to pay me to work full-time for the Yellowstone Wolf Project. They brought me on as the first inaugural fellow, and I've been so fortunate to be able to work with Lynn and the other Conservation Nation team members who have really changed my life and help get me involved in the work that I'm doing. With the Yellowstone Wolf Project, I do a lot of major research and education on gray wolves. Wolves are extremely controversial out west, and so it's really important for me to be able to help people understand why they're important to the ecosystem and how they're beneficial on the landscape. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so honored to be Conservation Nation's first fellow, and I hope more people can be supported by this incredible organization and get to continue to do work like me.
Wow, I'm learning a lot just from hearing from all these people. This is amazing.
Yeah, they're really phenomenal. So we are so proud to be supporting them. And, you know, we have a second fellow as well, a woman named Yamat Langai. So thanks to the generous support, partnership, and funding of a terrific conservation organization called Catmosphere, focused on big cat conservation, we were able to fund a second fellow. And Yamat is a Tanzanian mother of two, Maasai woman, who is working at a wonderful conservation organization called African People and Wildlife. And Yamat is working to save threatened lions by reducing human-lion conflict in the communities. And she does that primarily through data, measurement, and tracking. So Yamat is not only doing a terrific work in conservation, she's also breaking barriers for Maasai women that they can be in the field of conservation, and these myths that they can't be working with complex technology. She is busting those up. And you can hear from Yamat in this little video.
Thank you for inviting me to speak today. I'm so glad to be able to do this work. Thank you to the support of Conservation Nation. It's a great honor to be a Conservation Nation Fellow, which helped me to navigate the relationship between my people and the big cats in our region, northern Tanzania, where we are working toward peacefully coexistence. I manage several wildlife tracking and GIS software programs to help my organization manage its database. One especially exciting development has been the recovery of Tarangire lion population. This fellowship helped me to develop my skills I need to grow my work in conservation. I initially fell into this work by happenstance simply because it was what was needed in my community. But now, I'm so excited to deepen my commitments and help train others.
That is so great. What will it take to expand the academy to schools?
Yeah, so like all things, it takes money. So we are looking to expand the Conservation Nation Academy across the nation. There are underserved children everywhere who deserve to feel like they belong in nature and deserve to feel like wildlife champions. So right now we're doing a pilot in DC. This will be our second year. We're measuring results. And then if we get the funding, we're planning on rolling that out. So it takes funding to get the supplies, to train the teachers, to fund the field trips. Yeah. But it's critical to create this next inclusive generation of conservationists who will be leading us into the future. And at the same time, we are looking to raise more money for these amazing grants and fellows for people who are out there fighting every day to break barriers, save threatened animals, stitch up this delicate web of biodiversity for our children and children to come. So there's a long list, a waiting list of these incredible conservationists from underrepresented communities that we want to help support, and they want to be out there and saving the world for all of us. So we're looking for funding for that as well.
Will it be like an infusion program that sort of connects to academic standards in different districts, different demographics?
Yes.
Like it will be part of like earth science, and you could infuse the whole thing into the greater
Yes.
teaching of the school system that already exists. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
That is going to be transformative, I think, for the public school system. Like it needs that. That's
you.
what's missing. I think that's really what's lacking.
Thank you.
So this is the best thing I've ever heard. I'm generally so excited. So how can our viewers get involved?
They can go to conservationnation.org and check out what we're doing. And if they feel so inclined, they can donate. We need the funding both to get this next inclusive generation up and off the ground and to fund these incredible people doing work today to save the web of biodiversity. So they can go in, they can look around, they can choose to donate, choose to become friends, follow us on social media. All of that is hugely helpful and powerful for us.
It's wonderful. This is going to be so good for children, students, the planet, and wildlife alike all at once. So perfect.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, wonderful to meet you.
Oh, it was fabulous meeting you, and it's thrilling to be here at Live from Earth. So thank you for the opportunity.
Everybody, make sure you go and check out Conservation Nation and get involved. This is important, transformative work for communities, children, animals, the planet, everything. This is what we need more of in this world. Thank you.
Thank you.